The Milwaukee Brewers have done some just amazing things this summer, just astounding things. They have now done something that has not been done in the National League in 90 years. We'll talk about that and more next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
These guys are just unbelievable. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman. Good to have you along. Locked On Brewers, proud host of Locked On Brewers, my favorite sports team here in the state of Wisconsin. Been the host of Locked On Brewers since 2023, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin. And thank you for making us the number one Brewers podcast on the internet. And with each and every day, we are growing here on Locked On Brewers because of you everydayers out there. Coming up on the show today, we'll recap last night's 14-0 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. An absolute destruction. The Brewers now one win away from those free hamburgers. They're making another run at it. We'll get to that. We'll give an update on the injury situation. Christian Yelich opens up, and also a look ahead to a potential 12th straight win. We'll preview Wednesday's game as well. The Brewers are the first team since the 1935 Cubs to have two 11-game winning streaks in the same season. How about that? Two 11-game winning streaks. Nobody's ever done it. Last baseball team to do it was the 2015 Toronto Blue Jays, but before that, you got to go back to 1935 with the Chicago Cubs, who I believe went to the World Series that year. But back then in 1935, I mean, the baseball was like a pincushion. That's what that baseball was like. It was obviously a different game 90 years ago. But I mean, this Brewers team is just, they're facing Paul Skenes on Tuesday night, and the Brewers have survived all the tests in this winning. I mean, it's just been an incredible summer to begin with. But with this winning streak here, first of all, on the trading deadline day, everyone's sour, and the Brewers don't make a move. Everybody's sour because the Brewers don't make a move. They go out and sweep Washington, and they roll into Atlanta, sweep them. They go 6-0 on the road trip. They're coming back home against a struggling Mets team, and they find ways to come back and win all three of those games. So they run the winning streak to 9-0. They got this Pittsburgh Pirates team. They on last place, but you just never know what to expect from the Pirates. I mean, because they got a couple of guys in there who can play. I mean, they're not all bad, although they were just brutal on Tuesday night. They were every bit the Pittsburgh Pirates that we know on Tuesday night. So the Brewers win Monday night going away, and Tuesday night, 14-0, hitting 5 home runs. Just incredible. And by the end of the game, the Pirates were down using a position player. Brewers were then threw in Ziegler to pitch the top of the 9th inning, and he kind of mopped things up, throwing a scoreless 9th inning, I might add. But the Brewers with the 5 home runs, Turang, Frelick, Yelich, Durban, and Vaughn. Frelick led off the game on a 3-2 pitch against Skenes. Paul Skenes had the best ERA for a starting pitcher in baseball. He's great. A 1.99 earned run average. But the Brewers have made him look ordinary in both starts against the Brewers this year, both times at AmFam Field. And he looked really bad. I mean, really. I mean, they shook him up a little bit. Brewers scored in all but one of the innings that he pitched. So he pitched 4 innings. The Brewers scored, but all but one of the 4 innings. And Frelick hit a solo home run to start the game. Start the Brewers half of the inning. 3-2 pitch. Worked him to a 3-2 pitch and unloaded to right field. And the Brewers were hitting him hard in the first inning, some loud outs. And I thought, man, this is they're going to get him. Now, the Brewers were like a -120 favorite only on the hill, which I could not believe. I was just stunned at that. I mean, they were a slight favorite with Peralta on the hill. And Peralta did his part. He went 6 innings of shutout baseball. He was great. But the Brewers lately, they've hit during this winning run here, in the month of August. They've had 24 home runs, and this is a team that lacks some punch, but apparently not anymore do they lack this punch. Frelick, we interviewed him after the game tonight. When he was asked about the home runs, and he said, the home runs are just a bonus. We're out there trying to get singles, doubles, and trying to steal bases, taking the extra base, doing other things. I asked Frelick, I said, Sal, can you sense that you make other teams nervous with all these things that you're doing? Teams are a little unsettled when you guys are doing all those things. And he said, yeah, that's the point. That is the point, to make teams uncomfortable. They put teams in a position, they put teams on their heels. And they certainly did it with the Pittsburgh Pirates and with Skenes tonight. I mean, I've seen Skenes pitch terrific this year. Okay. His last outing I thought was great. And then I've seen him against the Brewers a couple of times, and man, he looked rather ordinary. And that's a credit to the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, the Pirates threw the ball around a little bit, and the Pirates were just bad. It was a bad night. It was a bad night for a bad team, and it was a good night for a great team for the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, they scored 14 runs. It tied the Brewer record too for the largest margin of victory for a shutout win. Back in 1982, they had shut out, I believe it was the Yankees 14-0, and Tuesday night they shut out the Pirates 14-0. So the largest shutout win in Brewers history. So this leads us to 11 straight victories. For a second time, they are on the doorstep for those free hamburgers from George Webb. And now, some of you have asked me what George Webb is. And I assume some of you who asked me that question aren't from Wisconsin, which is fine. We have listeners all over it. I'm hearing from you guys every day, and I'm going to tell you more how to get a hold of me. And I think it's just unbelievably fantastic. But yes, but George Webb's is. George Webb's a 24-hour restaurant in southeastern Wisconsin. There's a couple of other ones. Like, I believe Appleton's got one. Fond du Lac had one a long time ago. West Bend, there's one. But they're 24 hours a day, and they serve the breakfasts, the hamburgers, chili, you name it. It's a diner, and it's great. I mean, it's a Wisconsin thing. It's a Milwaukee thing. And back in the 70s, on all their napkins, they put something out that said, if the Brewers, George Webb predicts the Milwaukee Brewers will win 12 games in a row. I believe they did this in 78 or 79. And they've made a couple of runs on it, and they've done it twice. And now they're making another run at it and trying to make it a third time. And with Woodruff on the hill on Wednesday at home, fans are going to be riled up for this one. But Freddy Peralta was asked about George Webb after the game. He did not know about it. Freddie did not know about the George Webb. He was asked, have you ever heard of George Webb, the restaurant? He said, oh, yeah, I've heard of it, but I just didn't know about the 12 the hamburgers if the Brewers win 12 in a row. That's fine. But he's pulling for, obviously, well, he's pulling for the Brewers anyway, but now he says, man, we got to get a big crowd out here. We got to get these people some hamburgers. Very, very cool. The Brewers are 26-4 in their last 30 games. I mean, who does that? I mean, this run that the Brewers are on reminds me of just a couple of runs offhand. 2001, the Seattle Mariners, when they won 116 games, they were a team that just never lost. Never, ever lost. I mean, they just kept on winning and winning and winning. The 95 Cleveland Indians at the time just kept on winning. Just kept on winning and winning and winning. And they made it to the World Series, only to lose to the Braves. Seattle got bumped out of the playoffs. But the regular season of the 01 Mariners, that was Ichiro's rookie year, and the 95 Cleveland Indians with Bell and Ramirez and guys like that, they were a great regular season. They were winning every game. I mean, they were winning all the time. You could bet on them to win every game. I mean, if you were a betting man back then, and of course, sports betting was illegal in our country. But if you were a betting man, you probably made a ton betting on the Indians that year. And the Brewers remind me of that Cleveland team in the sense that they just don't lose. They don't lose. John Haymon, noted sports writer, covers Major League Baseball, says the Brewers are good at just about everything they do. CBS Sports says the Brewers are utterly making a mockery of Major League teams. Making a mockery of Major League teams. It's a small market team who was once 21-25. They are making a mockery of Major League teams. Nobody wants to face the Milwaukee Brewers because the Brewers cost you, lead you into mistakes. They do things to you that I've never seen done in baseball. They nickel and dime you. We've talked about that. And that's what the Brewers do. Frelick was there. We were talking with Frelick after the game tonight in the interview session. It says, man, I love playing this style of baseball. Seeing teams on their heel, going after teams like this. And there's a lot of guys in this locker room that love to play this. The new guys that we get, they want to play this way. We look forward to coming to the ballpark because we want to play this type of brand. This is fun. This is fun baseball. You know, the old expression, chicks dig the long ball. Chicks dig the small ball in Milwaukee. Small ball. Get them on, get them over, get them in. ABC baseball. And this guy, this sportscaster, loves the small ball. Getting us to 75-44 on the season. 31 games over the 500 mark. And get this, 43 games left in the season. If the Brewers go 25-18, all they have to go is 25-18, they're going to get to 100 wins. I'm shooting for more than that. I'm shooting for that record of 116 wins that the Mariners got. 116 wins. I think the Brewers would have to go like, they could only lose like 2 more games. Could be possible. But did I do the math right on that? Now I'm second guessing myself. They won 116 games. And they lost 46 games, the Mariners. Yeah, it was an unbelievable season for the M's. So can the Brewers lose just 2 more games? I don't see. I said this on Twitter. Are they ever going to lose? It's weird to say that, right? But do you ever look at, this is going to be the night? No. They refuse to lose. So when I said, I don't think the Brewers are ever going to lose again another game. And I didn't mean in this series. I mean in franchise history. Are they ever going to lose? They're not. They're 26-4 in their last 30 games. They're playing at a 90% clip. Teams like that, if they had started this way all season long, they would win 144 games probably. And to think that they were once 21-25 in May. 21-25, and they have worked themselves up to 31 over the 500 mark. There was a point in the season, I just wanted them to get a couple of games over the 500 mark to have a shot at the wild card because it looked like they were going nowhere fast. Just get over the 500 mark. Let's compete for the wild card because I thought the division race was over. The Brewers were not playing well. Nobody, and I'm telling you, not even the most faithful Brewers fan could have ever predicted. Here we are, mid-August, 75-44. The Green Bay Packers are not the talk of Wisconsin. Not that preseason terrible performance against the Jets. Not the Jordan Love injury. Everyone is talking about the Milwaukee Brewers. Everywhere. I'm hearing from people I haven't heard from before. You guys are reaching out to me, talking to me about Brewers baseball. I'm answering your questions at the highest level that I've ever seen with Brewers baseball. I've never seen an excitement like this ever. 7.5 game lead on the Cubs. They have the biggest lead out of any team of the 6 divisions in baseball. 7.5 game lead on the Cubs. A 14 game flip from where it was mid-June. A 14 game flip. Just unbelievable. Durban, I will say this, though. On a 3-0 pitch, He swung with the team up, 12-0 at that point, crushed one for a home run. Now, the baseball purists, I don't buy this stuff at all, might say, boy, are the Pirates going to do something about that tomorrow? That Durban swung on a 3-0 pitch. I say, stop them. Don't put Pirates, be better. Don't put yourself in a position to be down 12-0. Why should you have to let the foot off the pedal? More power to Durban. You know what? In that, when they had the position player in, and it was 14-0, and Frelick was up at the plate in the 8th inning, the bases loaded, I wanted him to go to yard. I wanted it to be 18-0. Keep pouring on the runs, because we've been on the other side of this for 55 years. Most of those 55 years. It's our turn right now. It's our turn to be the big kids on the block, right? On top of the mountain. Yes, it's our turn. For once. Having the best record in baseball. Let's see if the Pirates have anything to do with any say about what Durban, because, that's the way baseball is. God forbid you hit a home run off a pitcher, and then the next time you're up, the pitcher wants to throw a ball in your ear because he can't get you out. I could never figure that out at all. Derby padding the stats with a 3-0, 46-mile-an-hour fastball. Just crushed one. I mean, I had to chuckle. All right, we come back. We get an injury update. We'll talk briefly about a Yelich article he had written firsthand, talking about what it's like to be a Milwaukee Brewer. We're also going to preview this game on Wednesday. A lot more coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Open Phone, great new sponsor here of Locked On Brewers. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency as a customer. Well, like a burst pipe. If a plumber didn't answer on that first call, you went to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. You called the next one, so you got someone who would answer your phone because you were in desperate need and you wanted to get a live person. That's why if you're a business owner out there, having a reliable business line is so important, and you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system and helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. So right now, Open Phone is offering Locked On Brewers listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. Openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you have existing numbers out there with another service, Open Phone for free. They'll port them over at no extra charge. So you know what? Missed calls, that's missed business. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers with Open Phone. Good to have you along. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. And by the way, our podcast, you get it on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads out there. Wherever you download your audio podcast, we're the #1 Brewers podcast on the internet. If you're already listening on the audio, go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That alerts you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. And as always, if you want to have a first-person conversation with me, you got a question about something, hit me up on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. Hit me up on Facebook if you want. Same thing. Hit me up. Become friends there. You got a question, DM me on Twitter, instant message me on Facebook, and I'll answer any question you want. I guarantee you, 100%, I will always get back to you. May not be right away, but I certainly will. All you everydayers, it's people like you. I heard from a lot of people, a lot of cities, and I just appreciate it, man, for you guys to take time out of your day telling me how you became a Brewer fan, what your story is, where you're living, and trust me. And when you guys apologize for writing a long email, don't do that. You don't apologize at all. I love reading your stories. In fact, when they're long, I read them twice because I want to be able to comprehend the whole thing. But I love your stories. I love how, in fact, you became a Brewer fan, and I love to hear all over the world. I heard from somebody from 8,000 miles away, and I forgot where it was. They were literally 8,000 miles away, and I said, "You're our furthest away listener," and I can't remember the country it was. but I literally get dozens and dozens and dozens, but I read all of them. The best way to get a hold of me again is through Twitter or Facebook. You can leave your comments on YouTube, but I'm telling you, DM me. That's a great way to get a hold of me on something. All right. Quick update on the injuries. We found out tonight that Turang has got a little pinky issue. We'll see how that shows in the tomorrow. They're going to take a look at that. He's got a little pinky issue apparently, and they pulled him late in the game. Bowers is soon going to begin rehab. Chourio, 75% healthy on his hamstring. Rehab starting likely late August. He'll start a rehab assignment. Henderson, I don't expect him back this year. Looks like late September, early October, maybe. But we'll see. I don't think Logan Henderson's. I have a feeling they might shut him down for the rest of the season. And the Miz, well, the Miz is going to make some sort of rehab assignment this weekend, or he might pitch a couple of innings in Cincinnati. That is to be determined by the Brewers organization. But the Miz is coming along fine, but he could be pitching a couple of innings, it sounds like, on Friday in Cincinnati. Interesting. Maybe out of the bullpen. Christian Yelich, in the Players Tribune, wrote a first-person article. And this is where players, basketball players, football players, baseball players write an article, a first-person article. And his is extremely well done. Talked about how when he first came to the Milwaukee Brewers from Miami, playing for the Marlins, how much he realized what a family organization this was, and how friendly people are in the state of Milwaukee, city of Milwaukee, and the state of Wisconsin, how they take you in as family, and how the Brewers organization is a microcosm of that. Talked about how his first year with the Brewers, he was asked to be in the Sandlot video, and he was like, well, that's not really Yelich's personality. This is not him. And I get it. But he said, what am I going to do? Turn it down and not be a good teammate? So he took part in it and did it anyway. Says as much as he likes playing at AmFam Field, he loves playing at Wrigley against the Cubs. Loves it because of the adverse conditions. He says the fans start right in. He says he loves playing at AmFam Field, or he loves playing at Wrigley against the Cubs. Sounds like he likes it because the fans get on him. Yelich, for a while there, fans were getting on you at AmFam Field too when you weren't producing, but those times have changed. But he talked about the playing in the small market. He says, I know we don't get a lot of attention. We're never on national TV, but he loves it. He loves playing for Mark Attanasio. Mark Attanasio looks at Yelich as kind of like a son. They have a great relationship. I could not ever see Yelich get traded. Because Mark Attanasio loves him so much. He loves Christian Yelich. He's got a bond. He always seems to Attanasio have a bond with his star players. And in this case, he had one with Ryan Braun, and now he's got one with Christian Yelich. Caleb Durban could be missing the Cincinnati series. His wife is back in Denver, and possibly because of a paternity leave. He'd missed 3 games. Could be the 3 games in Cincinnati this weekend. That Caleb Durban could be missing some games. Another note, Vaughn, I picked this little factoid out on Twitter. Vaughn, since he was called up to the club on July 7th, he's batting .347, which is 6th in baseball since July 7th. And he's got 32 RBIs, which is 2nd since July 7th in baseball. Not bad for a 6-week run. King Vaughn. I love it. We come back. We'll set the table for Wednesday's game and the hamburgers from George Webb. That's next here on Locked On Brewers. Part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. And if you want to go to the game on Sunday, you have 30,000 again on Tuesday night. Get to Game Time, the Game Time app. Maybe you want a concert. There's a concert coming up this later on this summer or fall. When you get closer to Game Time, those ticket prices start to drop. Game starts 1:10 Central Time tomorrow. When you get around noon or so, you're going to see those prices drop on Game Time. And really, if you're tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal, Game Time has these zone deals. They pick the best seats in the section for you. You also, the app shows you a panoramic seat view, so there's no surprise. Game Time, the price you see is the price you pay. There's no hidden fees. But right now, take advantage on the Game Time app. You're going to the game, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Buy $70 worth of tickets, you get $20 off. You pay $50. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last bit of tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time. All right, everybody, here we go. Quick turnaround, afternoon game, 1:10 start. Love me some weekday afternoon games, and thank you for everybody who said hello today when I was out at the ballpark, walking into the press box. I ran into a lot of great fans out there. Thank you. One guy shouted, lacrosse. God's country, lacrosse. All right. Mitch Keller goes for the Pirates today. He was a guy that the Brewers, the Pirates signed an extension to. They're booking on two guys in their starting rotation long term. Skenes and this Mitch Keller. They signed him to a 5-year, $77 million extension. Pitched all right in his last start, 5 2/3, 2 runs versus the Reds. Got a no decision last Friday. Hasn't been great in his last few starts before that, but he's a guy who's in his career for the Brewers against the Brewers. He's made 10 starts against the Brewers, 4.99 earned run average, a 1-5 record in 10 starts versus the Brewers in 52 innings pitched. He did pitch well earlier this year. Memorial Day weekend in Pittsburgh on the 24th of May, went 6 innings, gave up 1 run. Woodruff on the hill for the Brew Crew since his 2025 debut versus Miami. He's made 6 starts. He's got a 2.29 earned run average. Good guy to go for that burger time on Wednesday. Get that 12th win, get over the hump, and keep this thing going. Cubs got beat on Tuesday. Was watching a little bit of that game in the press box. It looked like the Cubs were sleepwalking through another game. That's their problem. Our problem, get the burgers and keep building on this lead. And more importantly, keep building on having the best record of the National League so we can get the number 1 seed in the postseason. It's going to do it for me. Hey, have yourself a great Wednesday. We'll see you at the ballpark, everybody, on Wednesday. My name is Chuck Freeman. Thank you, all you everydayers, for making us your first listen to every day on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.